Seriously, I was just talking to a Cub Scout group about it Tuesday night.
Cracker plant?
Yeah, the question came
I'm going
up.
to get you a shirt for Christmas. Cracker plant whisperer.
They probably understood better than
No,
12,
they understood
12,
because they didn't
10
have
to 12
preconceived
year olds.
notions.
Where were all these people in 2012, 2013,
My guess would be
2014,
rehab.
2015? Nobody had any questions. Nobody cared.
Save it. That's one of my underlying that.
Hold on, be quiet. You ready yet? Yeah. Right, want me to take it?
The camera's rolling for Facebook.
Used to always said I had the
Tell me
face
when
for
to go.
radio. Now we have to worry about that too.
You got the face for video with no audio, even
Well,
better.
you know what happened was,
Go like this.
Dude,
Hey,
hold on, it is coming through.
remind me to tell you a story off the air. Way off the air.
yeah.
It's foggy both on the roads and in my brain. Teleforum. It's going to be a busy day. I want to get you set up right now. I know that there are people that are going to want to ask questions but won't call. Ask the Commissioners is the first hour, and if you go to our Facebook page, you can see it. To my right, and how I pause for a second, to my right, Jack Manning and Tony Amadio. If you have questions for the Commissioners, you can call, like always, but you can also post the questions in the comment section of the live feed on our Facebook page. Good morning to both of you. I'm required by fraternity charter to start like this. Where are we on the assessment?
Well, first of all, good morning to you, Eddie.
Good morning.
And I will defer to my senior colleague.
He just tried to defer to you.
Here,
He gave
here.
you the nod.
He is the chair of the assessment board, so I'll let him do some stuff.
We
How
are
much more do you get for that gig? Because that's a resume builder,
absolutely
chair.
nothing
All right, nothing.
but aggravation.
Well, that's something.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we're right on task where we're supposed to be. We're working on the possibility here in the near future to get a company to go out and to each community, municipality, and let people know what this is all about, what the new numbers mean, because they're going to get an assessed value number sometime this year soon.
Where are the new numbers? Do we know what the new numbers are yet, or are they
No.
just now coming in? Okay.
They'll be coming
what
out
they will
now.
mean.
But that's
Okay.
no indication of what your taxes are going to be, because the number that you have now is based on the millage that we have now, which is based on a 50% assessment value. When the new one comes out, it's going to be 100%. So the numbers are going to be higher because it's going to show you what your value of your house is, but the tax rate's going to be much, much lower. Instead of 26 mills, it may be 7 mills, it may be 5 mills. In other words, we're re-establishing the tax thing, starting from a low new number, and then it'll take 20, 30 years to get it back up to where it's going to be needed.
It'll be revenue neutral, right? So we can't
okay.
we can't use this to justify increasing the overall tax income revenue that we would get from the assessed properties over there. So it's going to balance out.
Is that where
But
people
your
are
actual
getting
tax
fuzzy?
bill may go up
Yeah.
because 1/3 is going to go up,
Right.
1/3 is going to stay the same,
Okay.
and 1/3 is going to go down.
Right.
But
Depends
that's-
on your neighborhood, your
Right.
municipality, and the way the overall aggregate assessment is done. And I will just add to what Tony said. I mean, we're being proactive about trying to inform the public on this. 11 o'clock this morning, as a matter of fact, our chief assessor director, Joss, will be at the Beaver County Board of Realtors Association and talking to all the realtors. We are recruiting 5 panels to serve as citizen assessment review boards when these numbers come out. So folks sit on those. They hear anybody who thinks that their assessment is wrong go through a process with our assessment office to appeal that, and so which will also help explain to people a little bit more. But we're trying to be proactive in informing the public of what's coming educating them on the process and helping them understand before they get their new tax assessment. But we know that people aren't going to get it. They're still going to react to it, and we're ready for that with these appeal boards and a lot of other.
Do you have any
marketing.
idea how many people might appeal? Because you said there's
well,
five people are going to be a part of
Typically,
that
other
process.
counties say
Okay.
it's about 10%
Okay.
that end up maybe as far as into the courts trying to appeal to different higher levels of authority.
Actually take
on-
legal
on-
steps to appeal rather than
Well,
just squawk.
Yeah, I mean it's
You got to be able to justify. I mean,
Right.
when you're going into a court of appeals. You got to be able to present why you feel that assessment
Yeah.
based on your community and based on your school district should be lowered.
You're going to
You
need data and comparables.
Right.
You're going to do what a real estate agent does when they list your house, right? They look at the comparable houses in your neighborhood of what they're selling for to say, here's what we think you should list your house for. You have to do kind of the reverse of that and say, okay, here's where I think comparable homes are in the relative neighborhood and district that we're in, or assess that, and here's why I think you may have gotten ours wrong for whatever reason.
And the pots of money are the municipalities and the school district.
Right.
Requires X number of dollars to come in. So it could be just within that community. Maybe you live in a certain area in that community versus another area in that community. Your taxes might go down, theirs might go up. But they still have to maintain that pot of money to run the school, to run the municipality, and of course to run the county.
That much needs to be coming in
Right.
by hook or crook.
That's the bottom
Well, I
line.
wouldn't say that, but
Well, it needs to come in to
it needs to
educate
come
the
in.
children.
There you go.
But the
I
bottom
upset
line
the
is
former
you-
teacher.
Yes.
You can't take away the current pot of what it takes to run those organizations in Mid-South.
Where are
municipalities
we
and school
on the
districts.
timeline for this happening? You say we're on track, but remind people, because you know better than most, both of you do. People aren't going to really pay attention to the details until they have to pay attention to the details.
Well, two things. One, the new tax bills, the county tax bills, will be coming out end of December, beginning of January, I believe, for the next year. Those won't be any changes from what you have
What you've been
right
getting,
now.
you'll get again.
From a county standpoint,
All right.
will be the same. Later in the first quarter, we'll start mailing those calculations of what the 100% assessed value of your property is after all the data, all the assessment, all the crunching of numbers that they've done. So those will start going out next year.
2024 is when the new tax bills will come out.
Let me get through what's going on now with the reassessment before more math gets involved in it.
Okay.
Well, that's when you're going to actually know how much your taxes either went
Right.
up, down,
I
or
got
whether
you.
they stay the same. It
2024.
won't be till 2024.
Is that the number one question on the street? I know both of you guys were at the open house with the Beaver County Council on Aging over at the mall.
Senior
What's
center.
the senior center? Thank you. What is the number one thing you get asked about or get complained
When we were
to?
there, it
Yeah.
was about the facility. People were happy that the commissioners 10 years ago decided to do something like that,
Yeah.
to bring all the satellite agencies together, and where senior citizens, no matter where they live, as long as they live close to a bus line or have a car, can get there, and they go there. They have camaraderie, they have lunch, they have work facilities, they have
The cafe now.
cafe, they have billiards. There's so many
There's
activities
workout
I
facility.
saw the
for people
video.
like
Yeah.
us.
But most of them just come, quite frankly, for the sense of community
Yeah.
that is
Camaraderie,
200, couple hundred people a day visit that center.
I saw the
Get
video.
a meal. And
The
do
people
some stuff.
saying the chair volleyball. I'm not getting in that. That looked
Yeah,
nasty.
Tony
I
got
caught hell
yelled at.
already
Tony
because
got
I
yelled at.
breached the area.
He stood on the
Oh,
line.
did you cross over the
He was
line?
watching and he
I
and
breached
he
the
was- He was
area.
on the line. So.
Actually, I got chewed out twice that day. I got breached because I breached the volleyball court area, and the other breach was I took a oatmeal raisin cookie without having the lady serve it to me. It's sweet lady.
What
She
did
was
you
real
just
sweet.
reach over and grab it like a
What do you normally
heathen?
do? Well, yes.
I'll say this, Eddie. I don't get many questions
Okay.
on the street. I walk around. I get very few questions about the reassessment. I really don't. Now, I know that's going to pick up when we start mailing
Sure.
these things out. The only time I get them is a couple of Fridays ago. I was with the incoming and outgoing president of the Beaver County Realtors Association. Of course, realtors
They need to
have an
know.
interest, and we're also trying to recruit, again, people to serve on those panels that understand property values, understand millage and the process well enough. But most of the questions I get are about roads, bridges, infrastructure, jobs, what's happening with development. That is primarily the
Same as
80,
here.
90%.
Yeah.
Back when we used to get a lot of phone calls, they were all things that didn't apply to commissioners. When my road going to get fixed? And we tell them, lady, or sir, it's we only have 5 roads that we're responsible. We have 62 bridges, but we only have 5 roads. Neighbor complaints, guys discharging leaves in my yard. I mean, they think the commissioners handle everything because we're the highest county elected official in the county itself. And they think we can do anything, and it's not always the case. I mean, there's times where we could pick up the phone and call the municipality, talk to a township supervisor, council person, and say that we had this complaint or that complaint. A lot of times we do things that are above and beyond our purview, calling state offices and trying to help somebody.
Just trying to help out.
Right. And
Right.
that's what we do,
Yeah,
service.
I do that all the time. I mean, I don't dismiss those and just say, "Oh, sorry, it's
Not my gig."
not my
Yeah.
job." I've never been it's not my job person, as I think you
Yeah.
guys know. So I'll make calls. We had a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee with Cheryl Moon Sirianni, who's the District 11 PennDOT director, and talking about all of the road improvements we are doing. Those aren't our roads, but we're championing those, trying to push those forward because they're key avenues for growth development, whether it's residential or small business or industry. So we're constantly out there talking and promoting. And when I get those, it helps me reinforce my case that, hey, people are concerned about this or people need this. Or I was just with a Cub Scout group Tuesday night, and they asked about are you in charge of the street lights? I said, no, traffic lights are PennDOT's.
Why did they want
Try
to
to
set
explain-
back later because that's the gotta go home time?
Because somebody had an issue
With street
with an
lights.
accident and
But we
stuff.
do have influence on roads. We do.
Yeah.
We sit on Southwest Planning Commission, SPC, and we go there and we get, it's called the TIP, the TIP, which is the Transportation Improvement Plan, that has to be set up years in advance to get funding for, like, Broadhead Road is the most recent thing that when I was vice chairman of the organization, which is 11 counties, we fight to get those monies to be brought into our county. So there is an indirect influx of money that comes from our influence in our purview.
Tony Amadio is my guest and Jack Manning is my guest. It's Ask the Commissioners on Teleforum, AM 1230, AM 1460, FM 99.3, and FM 95.7. You can call with questions, or you can go to our Facebook page. This is being live streamed at Beaver County Radio. That's the Facebook page. And you can post your questions in the comment section. After the news, I've got 2 questions, and one of them is going to be something you hear about much more than the other, but the other is just as important. Can I be more vague about it?
No.
Maybe. After the news, it's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Bill Laughlin from Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allow us to do it, but we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Visit LaughlinINSAgency.com.
Hey, it's time to wake up, Beaver Valley. Hi, this is Pastor David Grove from the Church of the Redeemed of Beaver Valley. After over 2 years on the air, it seems that some of you still cannot get up in time. So I've got good news. Wake Up Beaver Valley is moving to a new time, now airing from 9 to 10, this and every Saturday morning. It's time to wake up and turn our hearts back to the cross of Jesus Christ. So I invite you to wake up early this Saturday. To find out more, it's Wake Up Beaver Valley, Saturdays from 9 until 10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio. God bless you.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com, invite you to tune in to Sounds of Faith. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 for a mix of the best sacred music of all time. Sounds of Faith is brought to you by Crawford Tire and Beaver, the William Murphy Funeral Home, City Rescue Mission, MRS Physical Therapy, Circle of Friends, J&J Spratt Funeral Home, and Rome Monument and Inspirational Gifts. Sounds of Faith, uplifting, relaxing, and inspiring radio. Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Hey, it's Jimmy Fallon from Fox News, inviting you to tune into Beaver County Radio weekdays from noon to 3 p.m. for Fox Across America with me, Jimmy Fallon. It is the fastest growing radio show in the country, mainly because of my weight. But the point is, you tune into our show, you could be a Republican, you could be a Democrat, just don't be a jerk. Listen live on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. I'll see you there.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge, broadcasting live from the St. Barnabas Studios.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning on this Thursday morning, November the 3rd of 2022. Your Beaver County radio weather forecast for today is calling for a dense fog advisory. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly sunny today with a high up to 68. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast coming up right after we have this look at news. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano is reporting that Aliquippa Police Chief John Lane reported at Wednesday night's council meeting that a 20-year-old female who was living with her boyfriend at Town Tower Apartments has been missing for 3 weeks, and her mother's very concerned. The chief said he has reached out to state police and police in Ohio to try and locate Raikea Griffey. He told council his department is doing the best they can to try and locate her. Boone Township Police were dispatched to the scene of a single vehicle accident on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. An unidentified male died in the accident. The accident occurred between the car dealerships on University Boulevard and Stoops Ferry Road southbound. Both lanes of the road were closed for a period of time while officials investigated. Police Chief Greg Seaman reported that the police department's reconstruction team is investigating to determine the cause of the crash. The man's name who died in the accident has not been released. A Canadian university that granted a doctorate in history to current Pennsylvania Republican gubernatorial candidate Doug Mastriano is investigating a fresh complaint alleging his work is plagued by academic fraud and misconduct. University of New Brunswick President Paul Mazarol told the Associated Press in a phone interview that the school is also bringing in a team of outsiders to review its policies and procedures for graduate study. John Fetterman's edge over Mehmet Oz on key issues in Pennsylvania's U.S. Senate contest has narrowed, although the Democrat continues to be seen as having a better understanding of voters' day-to-day concerns. The last Monmouth University poll of the contest finds that concerns about Fetterman's health, particularly in light of last week's televised debate, have been raised by some voters, but the impact of their actual candidacy choice has minimal. In a polling of 608 Pennsylvanians, 48% of the electorate will either definitely or probably vote for Fetterman, which is similar to his support levels in prior polls. Oz, on the other hand, continues to make small but steady gains in support, with 44% of the electorate either definitely or probably voting for him, which is about the same as 43% early in October and 39% in September. PennDOT is announcing the closure is underway southbound on I-79 in Franklin Park Borough. Single lane and shoulder closures will occur today on southbound I-79 between Wexford and the I-279 interchanges from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Crews will use Monday, November the 7th, as a makeup day if needed, and crews will be conducting sign structure work. The bad news is no one won Wednesday night's huge $1.2 billion Powerball jackpot. The good news is that means the prize has grown even larger to $1.5 billion ahead of the next drawing on Saturday night. This will be the third largest lottery prize in U.S. history. The numbers drawn last night were 2, 11, 22, 35, 60, and the Powerball was 23. No one has won the top Powerball prize since August the 3rd, making for 39 consecutive drawings without anyone matching all 6 numbers. Well, what's behind 3 months of lottery futility? It's simple math. The odds of winning the jackpot are abysmal 1 in 292.2 million. As the November 8th midterm elections fast approach, there has been an urgent push for more voter education in Pennsylvania. Even at the last minute, Danielle Smith has more.
71% of registered Pennsylvania voters cast their ballots in the 2020 general election. The We the People PA Action Campaign is one grassroots group encouraging everyone to vote and reassuring people that their votes will count. Its chair, Mark Stair, points out that the group is nonpartisan, but is closely watching some issues that elected officials will affect.
The right to abortion. The second is the preservation of our democracy. One party wants to make it harder to vote and doesn't want to fund counties so we can get our votes counted. One party does. And the third really is who benefits economically.
Stair adds early voting is underway in the state, and they have seen an increase in Pennsylvanians voting by mail. If you requested a mail-in ballot, it must be received by your county election office by November 8th.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
There's a dense fog advisory in effect this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly sunny today. High's going to be up to 68 degrees. Clear skies overnight tonight. Patchy fog towards morning. Low down to 48 overnight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. High 73. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high of 76. And Sunday, a chance of morning showers. Otherwise, it's going to be partly sunny with a high of 72 degrees. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
You're listening to Ask the Commissioners on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. The Commissioners are awaiting your questions by calling 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Today's show is brought to you by Huntington Bank, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, and Beaver Valley Auto Mall. Click beavervalleycars.com. You can also post comments or questions in the Facebook Live video feed. And now, it's your chance to Ask the Commissioners, right here on Beaver County Radio.
Ask the Commissioners continues. Jack Manning and Tony Amadio are my guests on Teleforum. Coming up on about 35 minutes after 9 o'clock. If you've got questions, you can call the Commissioners. You just heard the number, 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Look, just post it. Let's simplify this, shall we? Post it. It's on Facebook. You can ask the Commissioners that way by posting your question in the comments section. Something that we had planned to talk about last time we were together, and it drifted away. I don't want it to drift away. Where are we with broadband? I don't think people understand. If you have broadband or internet connection, you have no idea what life is if you don't. This is an important infrastructure issue, big time.
We got, we put out for bid.
Okay.
We got 5 proposals, I think.
Yeah.
RFPs.
5 internet service providers have given us bids to hook up the remaining about 1,500 parcels that have no access.
Which are around the county. Not
When you say 1,500 parcels, is that
tax parcels. There are 91,000 businesses, resident parcels
Okay.
In the county. And we
taxing parcels.
and as you know, we have mapped that using Baker Engineering. We have mapped the entire county. Our maps are more accurate than the Federal Communications Commission's maps and some others that have tried to plot where there is service. In the past, we have 2 pilot programs that are also already underway with a couple of internet providers. One's going to hook up about 139 homes in Darlington, South Beaver, Big Beaver Borough area, where there's nothing there. So that's being laid. And then the second one is down in the Hanover area, where we have a cluster of about 40 or so. So we're going to get a couple of hundred more folks hooked up there. But these proposals are for the rest of the county to hook up those, as well as potentially hook up 19 cell towers with fiber optic cable. That will help be a great backup to our communication systems. All the issue that we've had with the $8.5 million worth of radios that we bought the 47 fire departments, 34 police departments, 3 ambulance services, and our 911 center. So there's a lot of moving parts on this.
It doesn't do.
We still haven't reviewed them though. We just got them in. We have to sit down probably at a work session and go over the proposals and the bids. And
is there a timeline for the review before you come up? And
well, we want to get it done before the end of the year. But we're on track, on schedule, on budget so far. These proposals all kind of meet our budget proposals. So now it's just a question of which one can provide the best service, the best linkage, the best coverage, and the best future improvement of broadband capability, where old capability is there, but when the new definitions of upload and download speed
to be able to retrofit,
it will change. Yes, so people that have poor service could potentially improve their service by these new fiber optic lines going in around the county. So it's pretty exciting. Again, the Cub Scout group I talked to Tuesday night.
Did they want to know?
They did.
Good.
Well, they wanted to know what was the problem you're trying to solve, and I brought up the problem that we're trying to solve, internet connectivity. Mm-hmm. I said, how many of you have cable? And they, how many? My grandparents said, how many of you have Roku? And you just see this on the TV screen every once in a while because there's poor service.
Right.
And we had a good discussion, and they got it. They didn't realize that not everybody had the same.
Yeah, but it didn't come to the forefront until COVID, when they had to shut the schools down.
For sure, when we had Zoom meetings and Zoom school.
Yeah, I asked them, raise your hand if you had to do homework from over the last couple of years. Every hand went up. I said, imagine if you didn't have cable, how would you do that? And they all went, oh, everything was online. I go, exactly.
Right.
That's exactly why it was important.
But to answer your question, we usually have 30, 60 days. It all depends on the proposal, what's in the proposal. Like I said, we haven't seen them yet. They just announced at our work session that they're turned in. So the next chance we have to review that, we'll be able to see how much time we have. And it's like Jack said, it's probably going to be to the end of the year.
Who decides? Who goes through and says, you know what, this is the best one, and how is it decided? Is this achievable?
The law
because
department's
consumers
will review them first, and the planning commission, and then we'll get it.
Okay.
The redevelopment authority, the planning commission, Lance Grable, he's been the director. He's been on this even pre-pandemic, working with Baker Engineering. We'll look at their recommendations. Their recommendations will come forward to us. We'll go through a legal review, and we'll make the final call.
Beaver County's the leader in this right now in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Other places haven't seen that it's
they're
important?
not as far on as we are.
Okay.
I met a couple of weeks ago with Brandon Carson. He's the new director of the Broadband Authority that was created in Harrisburg. He was down speaking to us here in Beaver County. He loves what we're doing. He wants us to actually develop templates for the other 66 counties that are lagging behind. And I use the term, we're the point of the spear on this. And he accepts that and is ready to dovetail and use the work that we're doing. As a matter of fact, the SPC that Tony referenced earlier is using a lot of the pre-work that we've done in Beaver County. May not get acknowledged for it, but the fact of the matter is it's the template and the process and the mapping and the engineering that we have done that's leading the way in Pennsylvania, and we're pretty proud of that.
Absolutely.
So we're either trendsetters or we're guinea pigs.
Well, a little bit of both, I suppose.
I'm okay with
It depends how long the money lasts.
That was my next question. For people that don't know, who's going to pay for all this fancy schmancy internet stuff for these young whippersnappers?
Well, we do have, so the good thing is, and one of the things that we'll do in examining the proposals, that are there is the private sector is paying half of this, and we're paying half of it with the American Rescue Plan money. So we set aside up to $20 million for this broadband implementation. It's going to cost more than that to do the entire county, and that's why all the proposals have a cost share in there, and a lot of who we select will be determined on who has the best contribution and capability, but also is willing to contribute a significant amount of the cost share to lay this cable.
So to answer your question, then the federal government is
The feds.
through us.
Okay.
Through us. But that was our decision to make. We could have said we're not going to put any money in that bucket. We came up with 5 buckets originally of where we're going to spend this $92 million.
Almost 93.
And we stuck to our guns. I mean,
Where are the other buckets? What are the other buckets?
Well, I think we've talked about them before.
The radios.
That was public safety. That was a
Yeah.
public safety
Public
bucket,
safety bucket.
that we did. Municipal infrastructure. I think we told you before we set aside $20 million. Actually, started out $10 million. We moved it to $20 million, but we had $66 million worth of requests that came in. So we put a good dent into that. Disproportionately impacted communities got a significant amount
Beaver
there.
Falls and Eloquent.
Right.
Census tract. There's, I think, 11 or 12 census tract communities that are considered disproportionately impact the public safety and then the revenue loss bucket, some of which we're recouping at the county level as well as with other municipalities. So we tried to be as equitable to spread this around the best we can. We had some one-time payments to the community college for the work that they did during the pandemic with the vaccinations, the homeless shelter, which we've talked about,
Men's
financing
shelter, women's
that,
shelter.
the women's shelter, CTC. Now we're going to
Things that we
give them
weren't
some
able
stuff.
to do
You
prior.
wanted to do before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We had some money and some resources to finally solve some of the long-term problems that folks have had.
And the building, the structure itself, the roof, the sidewalks, the fascia, the windows. I mean, we're really taking care of the obligations that we had that we couldn't pay without raising taxes, and we didn't want to raise taxes.
The improvements we've made at Brady's Run, what we're continuing to do with water and sewer hookups. So
that's biggie.
A lot of long-term benefit improvements that we hadn't been able to invest back into the county or the municipalities, for that matter, or certain organizations because of the lack of funding. So if there was anything positive that came out of COVID, it's that we are able to now have some funds to help solve some of these long-term issues.
Nonprofits also. We help the nonprofits.
Small business and nonprofits.
16 minutes before 10 o'clock, it's Ask the Commissioners on Teleforum. Jack Manning and Tony Amadio are my guests. I almost opened with this question, but I thought I'll save it. I was listening to a talk show. I heard the caller. The caller said, and I'm I guess paraphrasing, the cracker plant causes cancer. Do you want to address it from there, or would you like me to elaborate? Everything about the cracker plant is bad. Nothing is good. We're all being poisoned. Where's my aluminum hat?
I'm not a chemist. I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't make those kind of statements. But I can tell you this. We went down in 2022 or 2012. We saw what was built 50-some years prior to that. And we saw the businesses around it. We saw, we smelled what we wanted to smell. We saw how it affected the community.
The glow-in-the-dark dirt.
But that was a plant that was built back at that time, 50 years prior. And I used the analogy here before. Let's just say that was a Ford. What they've built here is a Mercedes-Benz. It's top of the line. I'm pretty proud to be part of it from the very beginning when we first sat down and discussed this. It's probably one of the safest plants that was built. It's one of the newest in the world. Gas-fed cracker plants. I was a social studies teacher. I didn't study a whole lot of physics and chemistry and all that, but I'm starting to understand it more and more over the past 12 years.
All right, Jack, I want to take a break. I want to get your I know your background, but we'll refresh that. It's Ask the Commissioners with Jack Manning and Tony Amadio. Jack's going to school us up on this stuff next on Teleforum.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Bill Laughlin from Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allow us to do it, but we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Visit LaughlinInsAgency.com.
Everyone is talking about John Fetterman's performance in the Senate debate. Just listen to the news.
That was hot.
If you've been haunted by the taste of authentic smoked barbecue flavor but haven't been able to find it, here's great news. Beaver Falls Barbecue is now open. Much like a ghostly figure drifting through a darkened forest, a sweet smell of world-class smoked meats and sides also seems to come forth from Beaver Falls Barbecue and waft up and down 7th Avenue in Beaver Falls. Beaver Falls Barbecue is located right next to the Antique Emporium, and it's open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7. Follow BFBBQ on Facebook.
Everyone is talking about John Fetterman's performance in the Senate debate. Just listen to the news.
That was hard to watch. Voters, I think, saw things that will definitely change the state of this race.
He struggled many times to complete sentences.
He doesn't have a grasp on the issues.
But if people watch that, they're going to question his capacity to serve.
What are real PA voters saying about Fetterman?
I'm an independent, by the way. I was definitely leaning towards Fetterman, and I think I have totally changed to the Oz side.
Well, I am a registered Democrat. It was kind of shocking to see Fetterman.
Unfortunately for Fetterman, I don't think he's up to it.
I think he should be at home recovering and not running for United States Senate.
Watch for yourself at www.pasenatedebate.com. John Fetterman won't change Washington because he can't. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Bill Laughlin from Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allow us to do it, but we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Visit LaughlinInsAgency.com.
You're listening to Ask the Commissioners on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. The Commissioners are awaiting your questions by calling 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Today's show is brought to you by Huntington Bank, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, and Beaver Valley Auto Mall. Click BeaverValleyCars.com. You can also post comments or questions in the Facebook Live video feed. And now, it's your chance to Ask the Commissioners, right here on Beaver County Radio.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we...
You're listening to Ask the Commissioners on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. The Commissioners are awaiting your questions by calling 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Today's show is brought to you by Huntington Bank, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, and Beaver Valley Auto Mall. Click BeaverValleyCars.com. You can also post comments or questions in the Facebook Live video feed. And now, it's your chance to Ask the Commissioners, right here on Beaver County Radio.
It is Ask the Commissioners. Tony Amadio and Jack Manning are my guests. Before the break, we were talking about the cracker plant because if you drive by there, your head will glow green and fall off. For the people that don't know, Jack Manning, your background is, what would you call it, the industrial sector? You've been around this stuff.
Yeah, petrochemical industry,
right.
Advanced manufacturing.
How do you respond to that when somebody says something, first off, completely undocumented and unproven, and second, a little bit goofy?
Well, I did work inside those fence lines and the plants that Tony refers to, Geismar, Louisiana, and Norco, Louisiana. I was a corporate trainer one time in my life. I actually worked inside those plants. I'm not blaming my hair loss on the fact that I worked in that industry for for 35 years.
No, it was
But
the stress.
It's easy when you don't know something, and all you do is you drive by and you see these chain link fences,
and it's glowing,
and there's steam, which could be anything in some people's mind going up in the air. It's like driving past going over the Shippingport Bridge and seeing the nuke plant, seeing that. It's scary to people if you don't understand the process or you haven't worked inside those fence lines. And they like to throw out different, toxic, this kind of stuff. And I always remind people, water is toxic if you ingest enough of it.
True.
Right?
You can,
right?
if you're thirsty and you drink too
but the
much,
media
it'll kill you.
and certain groups like to use those words to scare people that everything's going to happen. And I appreciate that people went to Louisiana and looked at what it is a totally different environment, culture, and process. It's a petroleum oil-based process. Different chemicals, different byproducts, different hazards, different pollution. This is the first natural gas cracker plant. So to make assumptions about what's going to happen here is really disingenuous at the best. You're not comparing, this is an apples to grapefruit comparison in terms of the process, the plant, as Tony said, the construction. That was a Mercedes when it was built in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s.
That was then, though.
It was. This is a 2022 or 2023 Mercedes. And I think we would all agree, if you've owned a Mercedes that's 50 years old to one now, the technology, the improvements, the safety, everything about it is improved. I have much more confidence. Again, I'm biased because I worked with those people inside those fence lines for the engineering, the process controls, the safety, the protocols, the environmental protection and DEP requirements and regulations, that will be a safely operated plant. Now, there are risks in everything. There are risks when you send your kid out the door to get on the school bus every day.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just wrap somebody in bubble wrap and hope, assume that they're going to come back. But those are calculated risks. And I know from my standpoint, and I think Tony's the same way, and Dan, we pledged an oath to look out for the health, safety, and economic well-being of every resident of Beaver County. And when you look at this facility, the jobs, the income, the investment that's coming into the community versus the potential hazards and risks, to me, it was an easy decision. And again, I understand I'm biased because I worked inside there, but I still maintain that this is going to be a safely operated. Tonight, the Chamber of Commerce at the Fez is having their Business of the Year awards, and Shell's going to get the Large Business of the Year because of all the contributions they've done, trying to be a good neighbor, trying to contribute to municipalities and different organizations, the employment that they're bringing to the site, the investment that they've done. They've tried the best to be a good neighbor, and I understand people that are skeptics, people that have kids with childhood asthma, the concerns. I get that. I understand that. I have those same concerns with a 14-year-old granddaughter and a 3-year-old grandson that live in the area as well. But in the aggregate, I just have much more faith and confidence that things are going to be fine.
We've got about 3 minutes left. I did want to ask you about the businesses, because does this count as a success if those downstream businesses don't show up?
Yes, because it's already
a success.
Look,
okay.
I've said this before. Shell put us on the map as a place where something is happening and to invest. Tenaris just bought from Italy, 2 guys from Italy, just bought 2 steel plants and are hiring, investing, hiring more people. Stoli Glass came in from Austria, saw Beaver County, bought the Anchor Hocking plant, investing $6 million, going from 300 employees to potentially 600 employees. I was just at Chronomet, stainless steel recycler, the largest stainless steel recycler in the world, a German company. They're investing in a new terminal and stuff in Aliquippa. These things don't happen. The mall isn't there if Shell doesn't say we're coming. Royal King doesn't come if all the housing developments and the units have been sold back behind the mall.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen unless Shell comes and puts us on the map. And people, St. Barnabas doesn't buy the Michael Baker campus and all the stuff that they've done on Tuscarora Road if they didn't think Beaver County was someplace to invest in because Shell committed to this. It put us on the map.
Single family homes are booming right now. Multi-family homes are booming right now. In Center Township, where I live, I mean, there's a section that was out in the country that they just put another new plant in. Plus, over towards where I live, there's another new plant going in. And New Brighton Township, same thing. Chippewa Township,
Right
same
down the road
thing.
from me as
they're,
well.
They're building. They're not going to build all these homes if people weren't going to want to move into them. Back in 2012, when we were talking and bantering back and forth, like I said, not too many people had a whole lot of words, but one lady got my ear. My ire is when she
Both.
said, yeah, she said to me, she says, well, Commissioner, you wouldn't build this in your backyard. I said, ma'am, as a matter of fact, I am right now building a home a half a mile up the hill from this plant. And I assure you, I wouldn't waste all the money that I have that I worked for 40, 50 years building a house that I thought was going to
Not
not
be
be a
worth
good
it. Yeah.
not be a good investment because of something I was trying to promote. I mean, let's face it, it took the entire Commonwealth to come together to help us. I mean, if just the commissioners wanting to build this place wasn't going to make it happen. We needed votes from representatives and senators from Philadelphia who came to the table in Harrisburg and actually voted to do this, to give the tax credits and the abatements that was needed to bring that plant there. The other thing, and this I'll end with this, they did an $80 million remediation there. I remember I taught like in Center Area School Districts, which included Potter Township. So I spent a lot of time in Potter Township. And we would drive on Route 18 from Center going to Potter. The whole left side of the road was black and dead. And it was like that for 60 years that I knew of. It's beautiful there now. They changed the highways. They came in. It's terrible to say, but they can build a road quicker and better than PennDOT.
Here's the other thing with that. Yeah, I mean, they redesigned the whole interchange on 376.
Yeah.
There, they
paid for it.
They redid. They paid for it, and like. But the other thing is that every organization, every municipality, when they go to lobby for money from DCD, the state or federal government, they use Shell
As a
support,
reference point. Look.
as support for why their project should go through.
They're bad unless we need a co-signer.
Right. So I mean, just people don't want to see that. They want to say, well, where are all the plastic plants? And I've been a skeptic on how much downstream business is going to move here versus all the other people that are invested in Beaver County because they know something's happening here. They know we have a great labor force. They know we have lower taxes. They know we have affordable housing compared to other communities, and they're coming here to invest their hard-earned money.
And our union halls are empty. Our
Jack
union halls are
Manning,
empty.
Tony Amadio, we got more to talk about, but we're out of time, so they'll come back. It's Ask the Commissioners, wonderful hour. Thank you, gentlemen. Teleforum, Beaver County Radio.
Always a pleasure.
Hey, it's Jimmy Fallon from Fox News, inviting you to tune in to Beaver County Radio, weekdays from noon to 3 p.m. for Fox Across America with me, Jimmy Fallon. It is the fastest growing radio show in the country, mainly because of my weight. But the point is, you tune into our show, you could be a Republican, you could be a Democrat, just don't be a jerk. Listen live on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. I'll see you.